Democrat Senator Cory Booker has officially lost his mind. I mean, he's gone complete psychopath. As I'm recording this, I believe he is in hour 17 of the most embarrassing and useless filibuster I've ever seen. This guy isn't even protesting a piece of legislation. He just wants to hear himself talk and has been rambling and rambling with other members of the Democrat Senate for the last 18 hours. I'm gonna show you everything from his wild rants to him having emotional breakdowns, him crying tears, and of course, lobbying insults at Donald Trump and lying at every turn. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. You know it helps me out a ton. But let's start with Fox News making a compilation of Senator Booker's filibuster at about hour 11 or 12, and you'll get the point of just how ridiculous this is.
So here's what did you miss last night when you made that dumb decision to sleep?
I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. I rise tonight because I believe sincerely that our country is in crisis. We are not solving the deficit in what they're proposing here. They're cutting and cutting and cutting things that make no sense to cut, and they're doing it for a tax breaks which disproportionately go to the wealthiest. Placing tariffs on our biggest trade partners is beyond unfair. This drives the cost of goods up, and the consumer is the one who ends up paying the increase. Even with universities got too woke and had too excesses, the antidote to that isn't to try to shut down the thought of the left. It's to try to make a fair, more competitive marketplace for ideas from all around the political spectrum.
It's almost symbolic that they chose April Fool's Day as the day that they were going to engage in this performative stunt. It's like the humiliation and the self-flagellation from the Democrat Party is so fine-tuned at this point that the cosmic justice is making them do something completely ridiculous on April Fool's Day. And nobody even knows what he's filibustering, what the point of this is. It's quite literally psychotic. He just started talking and 17 hours later refuses to give up the floor. Now this filibuster is filled with all kinds of strange and embarrassing moments, but let me play you probably one of my favorites. Here's Cory Booker having an emotional breakdown.
Millions of others join me there. Protect my Social Security, Senator Booker. I tell you, I am going to fight for your Social Security. I'm going to fight to protect the agency. I'm going to fight against unnecessary cuts that hurt the service it gives. And today into tomorrow, I'm going to stand as long as I can. As long as I can, I'm going to stand and read stories like this because you are seen, you are heard. Your voices are more important than any of the 100 of us. More of your story should be told on this floor of people that are scared right now, terrified right now, people living in rural areas that see their local Social Security agency on a list that Elon Musk put of places he's going to sell away to the private sector, and you're going to lose your agencies. Well, I will fight. I'm sorry.
I mean, the fake outrage, the fake display of concern. Give me a break. I mean, this guy is having an emotional meltdown over a fake Democrat-created hypothetical scenario that they're using to try to fearmonger. He's trying to make people think that he's so worried, he's so serious, he's so concerned. All these Democrat politicians are acting like theater kids or movie stars from the 1930s, just over-expressive. I cannot for the life of me take these people seriously at all. So in joining Cory Booker for this long filibuster marathon, other Democrat senators were there and they would ask him questions so he could yield to them for questions, and then they would give him like these underhand pitches that then Cory Booker would respond, excoriating either Donald Trump or Elon Musk or the Republican Party. But because they know it's all nonsense, here's a moment that slipped through between Cory Booker and Chuck Schumer. Watch.
No, I have one more thing to get off my chest, sir, and this is a little lighter. You heaped so many kind things on me. I don't know if you realize that never before in the history of America has a man from Brooklyn said so many complimentary things about a man from Newark.
But I would remind my colleague that we are both New York Giants fans.
Who play where in New Jersey? This is not a colloquy. I hold the floor. I do not yield. Brooklyn stole the Nets. It's an injustice from Newark. They stole the Nets. I do not yield the floor for a rebuttal. And the Giants and the Jets play in New Jersey. There's only one football team in New York, and that's the Bills. I do not yield, but
So at least they're admitting that all of this is a giant joke that they don't even take seriously. They're just trying to do something that can be perceived as disruptive or energizing. And I mean, you know the Democrat Party's desperate when now they're trotting out Cory Booker as if he's going to be their savior, when in every single election cycle he's ever participated in, he just falls flat on his face. But here, in perfectly timed fashion, as Cory Booker is talking with Chuck Schumer, his brain literally short circuits. Watch Cory Booker's eyes in this next clip.
it is this crazy scheme right now to expand the Trump tax cuts that overwhelmingly, disproportionately go to the wealthiest of us in America who need not our help, that would still yet expand the deficit by trillions of dollars, which means your children, and I know how proud of a grandfather you are, your grandchildren would have to pay for that debt. They're stealing from your grandchildren so that the wealthiest amongst us could get bigger tax cuts, and at the same time taking away medical coverage from the most vulnerable. What is that? It's not who we are. It's not who we are, America. And as much as people, thousands descended on this to save the ACA, Medicaid affects millions and millions of more people. Wake up. They're coming after a vital program for American expectant mothers, for American children, for American disabled, for the seniors like the ones you visited.
I mean, I can't even try to get my eyes to look as if they're popping out of my head like they did with him. He looked like he was one rough sneeze away from both eyeballs being on the Senate floor. It looked like if you would have smacked the top of his bald head, both of his eyes and probably a set of dentures would have flown out of his face holes. It looked like his tie was tied too tight, and there was beginning to be a pressure buildup over the 17 hours that was getting ready to make his head explode. It's evident at this point the Democrats are just letting anybody who's willing to go embarrass themselves on a national stage have a shot at making a difference. Now, at about the 14th hour is when Cory Booker starts mincing his words and having to correct himself because he almost gave up his position in the filibuster. Watch.
Friend, you are somebody that is a hero who folks don't know their name in the countries that you've affected with your strength on foreign policy. Dear God, my friend, I yield the floor for a question while retaining the floor.
I ask my friend...
Excuse me, I'm going to say that correctly. I yield for a question while retaining the floor. I do not yield the floor.
I ask my friend and colleague from New Jersey if he is familiar with Psalm 30, verse 5.
I mean, everybody's human, you know. You can't go 14 hours just talking about nonsense and expect to not misspeak at least one time. I just don't get what this strategy is supposed to accomplish. Do they think that there was some independent somewhere or some MAGA supporter somewhere who was just absolutely moved by Cory Booker's 17-hour filibuster, where nobody was presented with any evidence, any new facts, any new talking points, just the same regurgitated anti-Trump, anti-Musk, Hitler, fascist, threat to democracy, coming after your Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare rhetoric that's caused the Democrat Party to be at an all-time low approval rating. Literally, they have not put forth a countervailing plan on how they would reduce the deficit, eliminate it entirely. All they do is fight every cut, every set of firings, every federal freeze. They keep advocating for this process to happen at a pace that would make sure that nothing ever got done. It would ensure that the roadblocks of the bureaucracy work and keep itself alive. They want Republicans to take the regular process because the regular process is designed to stop anything from happening that isn't a continuation of a Democrat money laundering scheme. Now, here's Cory Booker giving one more tearful, crybaby, weak plea for mercy from Elon Musk and Donald Trump as he reads letters from his constituents saying they are terrified. Well, maybe it's because the Democrats falsely scared them for no reason.
I know so many Americans who are not powerful, they're not rich. I know so many Americans who live in fear every day that one little thing will happen to them that will destabilize their financial well-being. And now those millions of Americans, because of a president and a man named Musk, are driving fear into them, are whacking away the people that answer phones, are firing the people in an agency that already was struggling with wait times, that already was struggling with slow response times. These people who are hanging on by a thread in their lives are facing the people they love the most, who are struggling with the diseases that so many of us in this body have been affected by. They are now worried. They're writing me letters with words like fear and terror. They're talking about staying up at night and not being able to sleep because they don't have a president that comforts them. They have a president that talks down to them, that lies about the services that they rely on. What is this? It is not normal.
I find it concerning that Democrats don't even have the self-awareness to realize that they're making fools out of themselves, that they don't understand. We all see everything they're doing as massive Trump and Elon derangement. Nobody is convinced that their words or their high school theater production antics have any merit to them. They were already exposed to be just a bunch of pretentious elitists. But now these blatant assertions that they have such a clear crystal ball into the future and they can predict without a shred of doubt that the end times are near, that chaos and doom and destruction is imminent, just makes them look even more arrogant and untrustworthy than before. Like, I swear, the average typical Democrat wakes up in the middle of the night screaming in terror with night sweats because Donald Trump is going to run for a third term. Trump says the things he says because he knows the kind of reaction it's going to cause from the Democrats. They're so timid and skittish and irrational. It's just fun for him to toy with them. Imagine living in absolute terror every single day because you've convinced yourself that something 3 or 4 years in the future will 100% happen. Just imagine the arrogance and the delusion that takes. So if the Democrat strategy is just rogue judges and theater performances on the Senate floor, I think we're in store for much lower approval ratings. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed that absolute psychopathic rant by Cory Booker, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Turn on the notification bell so you guys never miss a video, and I will see you in the next one.